I had fully occupied days, which I liked, as I always like to be busy. And this is my motto, was being busy doing anything is better than doing nothing. So I pushed myself hard to follow the three of them until I really start feeling exhausted. And I didn't want to reach to a point where I would have to quit everything. I always putting in my mind in everything, in studying, at work, in budo, everything. Its imagination is more important than knowledge. So if you imagine something, then you can do it.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Tokshkai Inside Look podcast. Today we're speaking with Ahmed Kashash from Amman, Jordan. Ahmed has been practicing martial arts for over 30 years, including karate, taekwondo, and more recently Iaido, where he's yondan, and Jodo and Kendo, where he's currently sandan. Ahmed was part of the early group of Jordanians who worked tirelessly to nurture and develop these traditional disciplines in the country and continues to encourage others to contribute and participate in this lifelong journey. The growth and spread of budo around the world has seen many peaks and valleys over the past few decades, and it is only due to the efforts of people like Ahmed that these are arts available to us to enjoy outside of Japan. For those listening to this episode with similar experiences, let's take some time to appreciate our own journeys, and for those just getting started, know that it is possible and support is just around the corner. So without further ado, here's Ahmed Kashash from Jordan.
My name is Ahmed Kashash. I am 44 years old from Amman, Jordan, the capital. I'm running my family business. We are an electromechanical contractor, and I'm managing director for our family business. My interest in budo started at early ages when I was watching the movies and animes like Jackie Chan actor, Ninja and the Dragon, and many other movies for Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee, of course. Also a cartoon, I don't know, I used to watch it. That was the trigger for me to get the interest in budo and in martial arts in general, yeah.
How old were you at the time and what were your other interests?
I remember it was in 1987, 1986, something like that. Yes, I was 11 years old. I was obsessed with watching martial art movies, pictures, anime, and that was the spark for me, which triggered my interest in martial arts. You know, when you see the perfection and how powerful and strong the leading actors and the heroes were, and as a kid, you get aspired dream of becoming one of them. So I remember I was searching for any piece of wood in the backyard of our house, two edges, to try to break it with my knife hand, like sometimes the martial art masters doing in Embu or demonstration. Sometimes I remember this is in my mind, climbing the trees and hide like ninjas doing, especially in foggy days, and carrying a stick of wood as a sword. I remember once I asked my mom if she was aware of any martial art club or centers in our area or in the neighbor or close to us so I could join. And she said no, that she wasn't aware of any. Back then, there wasn't internet for a proper search. And I think my father, he noticed about this and told me there is a karate club around 2.5 kilometers away from our home. So we went there with my two younger brothers, like a group, we were three, to start karate. And we used to go there every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Of course, my father used to drop us there and pick up after the training when he was on his way back from work. After a while, my father, he started getting busier and stayed a little late at work. So we started missing some classes. We kept going to that club till I got my orange belt in karate. Although we eventually stopped going to the karate club, but the desire, of course, and motivation and wanting to learn martial art didn't stop at all. Then we knew that one of our neighbors' kids was going to a Taekwondo club in another area of Amman for 3 days a week. So we joined, especially that our parents were taking turns driving us to the club and back, which is easier for my father and others. The group grew until we were 9 kids from the same neighborhood going to the club. Gradually, kids start dropping out of the training. And as far as I remember, at the end, it was only me left committed to the training and attending the practice regularly.
So your siblings weren't doing it anymore?
Not siblings, only me, my two brothers, and the neighbor, some friends in the neighborhood.
So you started together with your brothers and everyone seemed interested.
Yes.
And then what was different about you and your brothers that had them stop, but you continue?
I don't know. Maybe they don't have that much interest in martial arts, or maybe they start feeling lazy, or that was long time ago actually. But for me, I'm obsessed in martial arts. I want to continue. I want to try everything. I want to do all kind of martial arts. As I mentioned before, it's a dream, like to become a hero or a powerful guy, maybe. And then I had to stop during my last year in high school, as I was spending most of my time studying hard to get good marks to go to university. And unfortunately, I started smoking in my first year in the university and kept this bad habit for almost three and a half years. When one morning, as I was getting up out of my bed and get ready to go to university, and suddenly I felt something like a knife in my chest, and I couldn't move or even breathe. It took me like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Then I called my father and told him what I felt. He started reprimanding me and saying this was all because of smoking. And obviously, he was right, I think. Anything for him, any pain, any problem, for him, it was, he connected with smoking. I decided to stop smoking. And honestly, at that time, I didn't do any kind of sports for the same period, three and a half years. I would never have thought that I would return one day to the martial arts. Once I went back again to the Taekwondo club and talked to my teacher, asking him his permission to come back. And of course, he welcomed me. So I got back into the martial art, and I was going extensively to all classes after university, then after work. And sometimes we used to practice extra sessions on Fridays, which is the weekend in Jordan.
Was going back to this practice part of getting your life together, like quitting smoking, being more healthy? Was that the
Yes.
reason?
Yes. And also, I thought it could help me to completely quit smoking and not to get back to smoking. So that was, maybe it's bad, but good at the same time. Then I remember one of those Fridays in 2002, we were playing football in the club. Sometimes we do playing football or just kicking a ball, kind of warming up before starting the classes. And accidentally, I was stand on the ball when I fell down and broke my ankle into 3 pieces. It was very, very, very painful. And I was screaming a lot. My coach and my colleague took me to the nearest hospital. I think it was very, very close to the club. And the doctor did the MRI, and after which he confirmed that I need an operation to put a platinum plate for 3 months to heal the broken ankle. And also I would have the choice to whether keep or remove the plate. Eventually, I did the operation, which required at least 6 months recovery period. It was frustrating not being able to practice. But I said to myself that time will pass and maybe I could watch training or doing Vittori Keiko. That period was very, very remarkable in my budo life, actually, as it was a turning point for me. One day I was in Sports City visiting the martial arts building area, which belongs to different kind of martial arts official federations and centers. And while walking with my crutches when it was a little bit dark, and through one of the training hall windows, I saw a group of people wearing a black uniform with swords. The uniform clicked my mind as Kendo uniform, but then I realized they weren't, because they don't like putting like a men or kote or bogu or this armor protections. I know how exactly does Kendo uniform look like from TV and from movies, some demonstrations. And I thought this was something very similar or close to Kendo, which I always wanted to try. But back then, Kendo didn't exist in Jordan. So I decided to enter the dojo, and I entered and I bowed down as I knew the custom and tradition when entering a martial arts hall. That was so amazing and mind-blowing, actually. The sound of the swords cutting the air, this is something fabulous. I was so surprised that such martial arts exist in Jordan. I waited until the class finished, actually. At that time, it was my destiny to meet my future sensei, Ali Malhas sensei. And I introduced myself to him and asked him if this art has anything to do with Kendo. He confirmed and told me that so far Kendo wasn't present in Jordan yet, as no one was dedicated for it. But maybe in the future it will be. I said to myself that this art, Iaido, seems very interesting and looked delicate. So I asked Ali Sensei if I could join after my recovery. And at the same time, I was hoping that one day Kendo could be introduced in Jordan. And after three months, I underwent another surgery to remove the plate and screw from my ankle. And a few months later, I visited the dojo again at that training time, and I started my journey with Iaido. Since that time until now, we do practice Iaido every Saturday and Monday, and Jodo every Wednesday and Friday.
Okay, so what was happening outside of the martial arts at the time? Like you had gone back to Taekwondo to try to quit smoking, and then you had this accident. Were you at university at the time, or you just graduated and then you started working?
I graduated in 2000. So that was all happened while I was working. I worked immediately 1 year after I graduated in 2001. And 2002, everything happened to me. I broke my ankle, and turning point in my life to Iaido and Jodo.
Okay, so you had more time to practice. Now you weren't studying.
Yes. Also, I returned to Taekwondo classes. In the beginning, I was so lucky that Taekwondo classes didn't conflict with Iaido and Jodo classes. Moreover, my work location was very close to both centers or locations. So in general, everything was going smoothly, and I used to finish work and go either to Taekwondo or Iaido and Jodo. I had fully occupied days, which I liked, as I always like to be busy. And this is my motto, was being busy doing anything is better than doing nothing. So I pushed myself hard to follow the three of them until I really start feeling exhausted. And I didn't want to reach to a point where I would have to quit everything. So I was in front of two different ways, disciplines, and I had to choose and decide and to focus on one. That was the moment I decided to continue and to focus on Iaido and Jodo. And I would say I was very committed, always attending classes, seminars, everything related to Iaido and Jodo. Except when, of course, there were commitments which couldn't be missed, for maybe families commitments, something big commitments.
If you could remember, what were the things that were going through your mind when you had to choose, when you're looking at Taekwondo and then looking at Iaido Jodo? What did you consider when you finally made that decision?
Maybe because in Taekwondo, I already got advanced ranking, and maybe also Iaido and Jodo doesn't need that much movements like Taekwondo. So maybe it's a little bit quiet movements. It depends more or less on mental exercises. At the beginning, everything was a little bit difficult, doing something totally new and different, a little bit complicated also with movements and new terminologies. As in Taekwondo, we used to say the words in English, but now we used to say the words and using the Japanese terminologies. But I always believe that one day I will learn as others and get used to them. And exactly as I always see it and say it to beginners, I encourage them not to panic or get lost with the movement or worse. One day they will find themselves involved in also no to worry at all. As days went by, everything was going as normal with practicing and learning new things. And of course, the more you advance, a huge amount of information you observe by doing, listening, and seeing directly or indirectly. Once I came to the dojo, I remember a little bit early, and the sensei was there, and he asked me to start using the dojo's Iaido, the metal sword, instead of budo, the wooden sword. Honestly, deep inside, I got scared. It was very strange and scary feeling. I felt there will be a very big responsibility, not to mention the high possibility of injuring myself again. I would like to mention something back to seminars. We practitioners in Jordan are unfortunate to attend many seminars in Europe due to the process we face to issue the visas to travel, which usually take like 2 months earlier for preparations, unlike our colleagues in the European Kendo Federation or in European countries, who can attend any seminars and as much as they can, whenever they want. Yeah. On the other hand, as Jordan Kendo Federation for Iaido, Jodo, and Kendo, I consider we are lucky that we became a part of European Kendo Federation as a first Arab country, even with the associated difficulties we faced and cost we bear. But we managed to attend the three main events where we are given the opportunity to attend seminars, competitions, and grading, of course, the three at the same time, all in one every year. The EIC, EJC, and EKC, European Iaido Championship, European Jodo Championship, and European Kendo Championship. I remember the first event which I attended as a Jordan national team member for European Iaido Championship and European Jodo Championship. Actually, it was the same location, same time, in Netherlands in November 2008. It was a big experience, and the event we're meeting all this number of both disciplines, practitioners and senseis with high ranks from all around Europe. And of course, under the supervision of Hachidan, sometimes the senseis from Japan, from All Japan Kendo Federation. Right away, after everything was done, exams and Taikai, in the last day, I received the worst news in my life, actually, that my father passed away, and accordingly, I had to leave immediately before the scheduled date. Yeah, after that, we kept attending the events with the fabulous team, friends, brothers, and sisters, colleagues, with full energy. Of course, the dojo became my second home, actually, the place where I spend most of my time after home and work. Budokas in the dojo became my closest friends, my second family. We have a very, very great relationship. We are like brothers, actually. We regularly go out together after training. Sometimes we arrange doing other activities not related to budo. Budo occupies a big part of my heart and brain. Suddenly, everything became about training times. It became my lifestyle, actually. Disciplined, organized, polishing your spirit, clean, respectful, all of this. I became humble in all aspects of my personality and characteristics. I think it refined my personality, yeah.
Do you remember any particular instances or ways that you used to react to situations that you notice yourself changing? Like, what are these polishing of your personality characteristics? Could you remember any specific examples of how you feel like, okay, maybe this thing is actually changing me more than just physically?
Yes, I remember once at work, my boss, he was, I wouldn't say like shouting or something, complaining to me about something in very aggressive way with an attitude. At that time, I start focusing something else. I totally didn't listen what he was saying or what, just not to get angry or get nervous. So it will be action and reaction. So I tried hard to focus on something else in Budo, and it works actually. He was like, I would say like he was talking to himself. So I passed and I didn't get nervous. Yeah, it was good. This is, yeah, in general, something like this.
Yeah, no, that's a great example.
Yeah, Budo in general and Iaido in specific allow you to become aware of many other things which is not used to be aware of in the past. It built up my confidence and conscious. I strongly believe that there are too many things to learn when it comes to the main fundamentals, the minds of or spirits and ascension. It's a beginner's mind, lingering mind, no mind, immovable mind, purified spirit or enlightened, and or the four prohibitions, shaikai, surprise, fear, and doubt, and confusion, kyuku, giwaku. Even learning the parts of the swords and how to disassemble and to reassemble, there is spirit and a philosophy behind every single tiny thing. Simply talking about the Budo itself, it may be endless. Yeah. And back to the Kendo topic, actually, I remember in 2008, I noticed that there was a Japanese school guy in Jordan living with his parents and studying in an international school. who has a need on Kendo. So I contacted him through people, a Japanese lady in our dojo, and asked him to teach me the basics of Kendo, just basics. Then later on, I could continue maybe by myself or with sensei. I don't know how. Anyway, communication was quite difficult because of the barrier of language. So I remember we were emailing each other through his father, and his father in English, he used to translate the English and to arrange for the training. So it's like I used to send an email to his father and his father translate the email to him. Then we arrange everything. We used to meet once a week and he was just showing me where and how to hit and what to do and what to say, using by signals, by hands, just showing, no talking at all. So he taught me the basic, suburis, gripping, teneuchi, everything like this, basics. And also he showed me the four main ippons, men, kotetes, ki, and the do. Then later on, he started putting his bogu and letting me to hit him. I'm really very grateful to him for his support and effort, also for his family. After that, we started with 3 more guys. And in 2009, I managed to contact All Japan Kendo Federation requesting a set of bogu for Jordan to start.
Oh, wow. So up until this point, there was no Kendo in Jordan.
No, nothing yet. We started only by myself, then another two guys, they joined.
So this kid, how old was he at the time? He was...
Yeah, he was in grade 9 in the school. Grade 9. Yeah. It's
super young. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 15 years old. At the beginning, he was teaching me and his father, he joined and just sitting and watching. Later on, I used to go to his house and pick him up and go to a squash or to the dojo and practicing.
Yeah, that must have been a weird situation, like a early 30s person contacting a 15-year-old to, hey, come teach me something.
It was, there's a language barrier between me and him, and it was, I don't know how everything went smooth. I contact his father, sending email in English, and his father translate to him in Japanese, and he reply in Japanese, and his father translate to me in English. Then after that, everything by showing and by hands, or everything went smooth. We stayed like this for 1 year, actually. Then after that, also through his parents, I contacted the All Japan Kendo Federation, asking for a set of bogu so we can start Kendo in Jordan, because, you know, bogu, it's quite expensive for beginners. So I asked if they have any used bogu and equipments. And yeah, thankfully for them, they sent us the bogu. I remember 20 set of bogu through the Embassy of Japan. And thankfully to the ambassador, he handed over all the bogu to Jordan Kendo committee at that time. We weren't federation yet, we were committee. Later on, besides attending the most important events in Europe, we started hosting and inviting senseis to Jordan, and it became an annual event in Jordan for the 3 disciplines, where Iaido and Jodo in one seminar, usually in May, under the supervision of Patrick Sensei, his 7th Dan Kyoshi in Iaido and 6th Dan Rokodan Renchi in Jodo. And he's from Belgium. And Kendo seminar in September under Christian Mays Sensei, his 7th Dan Renchi in Kendo, also from Belgium. I consider that having annual seminars is an achievement and progress, as I mentioned earlier. We don't have a smooth accessibility to attend any scheduled seminar in Europe, which there are too many people going there.
How were you put in touch with the 2 Belgium senseis? What was the path of creating that connection and building that relationship?
Through my sensei, through Ali Sensei, we have some connections with some people in Europe, and they put us in touch, and we contacted them. And they start coming to Jordan every year since 9 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you talked about attending the European Iaido, Jodo, and Kendo championships. Are there any particular memorable experiences attending any of these big seminars and events?
We used to go there like 6 person or 7 persons. And most of the practitioners, they are doing both disciplines, actually, Iaido and Jodo. And in the past, in Europe, they used to make the EIC and EJC at the same time. So like 4 days, 2 days for Iaido and 2 days for Jodo. So it was quite good for us, like traveling once, attending the 2 seminars, doing grading for people who needs to do grades, and competing, and seminars, learning new things, practicing with high rank senses, etc. Yeah.
Was there one particular event that was especially memorable to you?
Yes. There is one it was very remarkable in my mind. It was in Torino, in Italy. We were 8 person. We were 8 practitioners from Jordan. At that time, the European Kendo Federation, they separate the times for Iaido and Jodo. It was no longer at the same period. So it was Jodo. We went there, and we have many students in Shodan category. And we end up Jordan team competing Jordan team for gold and bronze medal. So we were 4 judokas from Jordan competing each other for gold, 2 teams against each other for bronze and gold.
Oh, wow.
That was very, very amazing. We got the gold medal and the bronze. For us, it was very big achievements actually. Yeah.
So you mentioned before that your dojo and the people that you train with has become a family. Are there any particular people that you developed an especially close relationship with, and how have they helped you in your training and in other parts of your life?
Yes, I would like to mention my very good friend. His name is Hussein Salami. We used to practice together. We do the 3 disciplines actually together, Iaido, Jodo, and Kendo. And yeah, actually, I was his partner. I was Uchidachi for him. He was Shidachi in that event in Torino, where he got the bronze medal at that time. So it was for me, it's like even a small percent of achieving this medal for me, helping him in getting this achievement. That was good. Also, yeah, as I told you before, we, as friends and colleagues in the dojo, we used to go out together doing activities. But also, I remember he was helping me. He is studying an electrical engineering, and he's very good and smart. And he used to help me doing my second major in mechanical engineering in some common subjects. He helped me a lot. Yeah, now he's doing his PhD in Norway. But we, of course, we're still in touch. Like every week, we talk to each other. So yeah, Hussein, he's one of my best and very close friends from dojo and until now. My wife, she is Japanese and she used to come to Jordan. She liked to visit Jordan and he knows her. And one day he told me, Ahmed, I have a friend from Japan and she wants to visit Jordan. She's in Germany and he told me she wants to visit Jordan, but I will be in Norway. So if you have a time or you don't mind, if she needs any help or if she contacts you to take her some places or if she wants to visit anything, I told him, yeah, no problem at all. On weekends, if I'm free, I could help. Yeah, no problem at all. So yeah, he gave her my contacts and she contacted me and we used to go visit some historical places in Jordan. And since that time, we got the contact for each other and we start contacting each other. And I visited her in Germany. Then we went to Japan. Then we got married. And now we have a daughter. She's 11 months old.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
big. Congratulations.
Thank you. But unfortunately now she's living in Germany and Jordan. But yeah, very soon we will join together. I will follow her to Germany.
What did she think about you being from Jordan, but so into the Japanese martial arts?
Yeah, this is for her surprise. Actually, I would like to mention something. She has nothing to do with budo. She has nothing to do, yeah. For her, this is something very very strange for her, like doing budo and very into deep in budo. You know, this is Japanese culture. So it's very respectful for them.
Also, I would like to take this opportunity to mention our and my close friend from the dojo, John Fattal, who passed away. May his soul rest in peace.
Thank you. So you've been around for a while now with helping to bring Iaido, Jodo, Kendo to Jordan. And it becomes very difficult because as someone that had so much passion, so much interest in it, you had to scrape and do everything yourself just to make sure that these arts exist so you can practice it. And then now when you have new students coming in, they don't realize how lucky they are that this stuff exists. How do you balance the dedication that some new beginners have starting these arts with yours, that like it's so important to you while they might find it as a hobby? How do you teach beginners to kind of develop this understanding of what the martial arts are?
Yeah, as you know, like Iaido and Jodo and even Kendo, it's not popular like football or basketball or karate or Taekwondo. It's so people coming to dojo for Iaido or Jodo or Kendo, actually most of them, if not all of them, they know what they are coming for, what they are looking for. So before they come, they search. Some people coming to work, expats or foreigners, people coming to work in Jordan, and they already do Kendo or Iaido or Jodo in their countries, and they come here. Before they come, they Google, and they know that there is something similar in Jordan, and they bring their stuff, and they're starting. So I would say people who are coming to Iaido and Jodo and Kendo, selected people. It's not anyone like any other sports or martial arts.
What are you working on now as a teacher or senior in your dojo or administrator?
Now I'm hopefully this COVID pandemic end very soon. I'm preparing for my Godan in Iaido and Yondan, fourth dan in Jodo. I hopefully next year or the year after I can make it. After that, maybe I will consider to start my own dojo, and we'll see how things will go.
Have you already started thinking about like what would you do to go about starting this dojo?
Not really, but I started putting in my mind how to establish the basic of a new dojo, the rules, and how to teach, how to progress the students. And for dojo, I have to look for a place to practice and to rent it. But yeah, maybe my consideration is like maybe you have to rent and you have to pay a lot, maybe for first year or for the first 2 years. Then maybe it will start break even, or I'm thinking now about it. And of course, I'm trying to collect and gain knowledge and as much as I can, so I can work with this in my dojo later on.
Switching topics a little bit, I'm sorry to say that I don't have much familiarity with the Arab countries. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about what the culture is like in Jordan, and what are the similarities and differences between Japanese culture that draws you to the Japanese martial arts and the culture? What are the similarities and differences between these cultures?
Maybe the Eastern or Asian countries, Jordan is considered as an Asian country, we are more conservative. So I think this is a common thing, and between Asian countries, doesn't matter near Far East. I think they are all the same in this aspect. The culture in Jordan actually is based in Arabic and Islamic elements. Jordan stands at the intersection of the three continents of the ancient world, like blending in geographic and population diversity. Notable aspects of the culture include traditional music, traditional clothing, traditional food of Jordan, and interest, of course, in sports in general. This includes, like, of course, football, basketball, as well as other important sports, tennis. Yeah. And there's a big variety of martial arts. We have karate, taekwondo, kung fu, Muay Thai, judo, aikido, boxing. Yeah.
Which ones are like the big ones in your country?
The most popular one is taekwondo, actually. But I think this is maybe, I don't know if taekwondo is an Olympic sport, unlike karate, unlike kendo, unlike judo. So maybe this is how it gets the popularity of this sport.
Okay, I'm gonna switch things up a bit. I have some rapid fire questions. I call them like short and to the point. The first one is, do you have a quote or proverb that you live by or practice by that you like to remind yourself of?
Yes, there's a quote I always putting in my mind in everything, in studying, at work, in budo, everything. It's belonged to, of course, the scientist, famous one, Albert Einstein. He says, imagination is more important than knowledge. So I think this is, if you imagine something, then you can do it. You can't achieve it. Yeah, this is my famous quote.
Do you have specific examples of how you've used it in your work, your life, your martial arts?
Yes, as I told you, I'm an electromechanical contractor. And usually before we executed any project, we start from nothing, from scratch, and building with skeleton and cement and concrete. So sometimes when you put an imagination on how your work, it will look like after a while, then something like this. Or sometimes we do renovation in people houses. Back in your mind, you know how the new look or how the renovation will be look like after a while. But the people living or people not used to do these things, they don't know how it will look like. And especially the ladies of the houses, when they saw the damages and demolition and everything, they got scared and they don't know. But they don't have the passion or they don't have the imagination how later on everything will be fine. Yes.
It seems applicable to something like budo too, because if you're in conflict, either with the person physically or mentally, everyone's different and every situation's different. So you can't just rely on past experience and just knowledge to deal with it. You have to be flexible.
Yes, with beginners, sometimes you face difficulties, but if you think about them at the same time, you think about yourself when you started. So it's similar. You started with no knowledge, nothing. You don't know anything about this discipline or this art, what you are doing. So this is the same for them. So always I'm encourage them not to be panic or lost, because one day you will be evolved in everything and you will know, maybe you don't know when, but one day you will realize that you know the terminology, you know the movement, the name of the movements, everything. So yeah, I'm always encourage them not to get panic. This is very, very important actually, just to support them, because yeah, when they start listening to new words and new names, some of them, they think, oh, well, how could I learn these things? Yeah.
If you could meet one sensei or practitioner that you've never met before, it could be someone that's still alive or someone long dead, and you can have a full day conversation with them regardless of language barrier, who would that be and why?
Yes, I would like to meet Katsumata sensei. He's the Tamiya Ryu Grandmaster. He's the Grandmaster of our school, Tamiya Ryu in Iaido. I would like to meet, I know he's in Japan and I never met him, so I would like to meet him in real and to attend one of his practice or seminars. And if I have a chance to talk to him, that would be very great opportunity for me. Yeah.
What questions would you ask him?
Maybe this is very early to ask him this, but maybe it will be the only chance about the secret of Tamiya Ryu. So, yeah, it wouldn't work because I'm pretty sure if I meet him, it will be only one. I will not be his favorite students or so far. So yeah, this is because I have only maybe one chance in my life to meet him. So this is maybe the one of the question I would like to ask him. This is what comes to my mind right now, but definitely there will be other things to ask him. But yeah.
If someone were to log into your YouTube account, what would they see recommended from the engine on the homepage? What kind of videos?
If you open my YouTube account, you most probably see three major things: something about budo or martial arts or Iaido or Kendo, and some renovation houses and some about scientific experiments.
What kind of scientific experiments?
About how to combine heat and power in industrial industries. Yeah, they call it CHP. This is one of my interests, combined heat and power. This is kind of saving energy and yeah.
Okay. To wrap this up, is there any message that you want to share with people listening? Anything that you think about a lot that you just want to get out there and have people also think about themselves?
Yeah, I would like to encourage people, whatever you are learning or your passion, just practice and go into details and gain knowledge. And one day you will reach what you want, or one day you will get a higher level of knowledge or of disciplines. Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Thanks for taking this time, Ahmed.
Thank you for this opportunity. Actually, this is a very grateful job, and I hope you do a lot with this.
It's great being introduced to you and your country and hearing your story. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode because we have a lot more exciting conversations to share as we explore the world of the traditional Japanese martial arts. The Inside Look podcast is available on most common podcasting platforms and on YouTube. Remember to subscribe to not miss out on new interviews as they are posted. We're always looking for feedback to improve, so please write us a review or drop us a line at podcast@tokushikai.ca or on Facebook and Instagram at tokushikai.canada. Until next time, thanks for listening.